Hey Success Coaches, my name is Rachel Hargis and I work for Moody Distance Learning, and I'm one of the staff that has helped launch this Success Coaching program. So I'm here today because I want to take you through a little tutorial of how to use Blackboard for communicating with students and keeping track of things as you move forward as a success coach for us. So once you've got your Blackboard logged in and you're at your main screen, our community is not going to be under these, but if you keep scrolling down, it's going to be under My Organizations. So if you look, for me it's right here, it's called MBIDL First Year Community. So you go ahead and click on that. It'll take you to the Success Coaching homepage. So here we are. First of all, I'd like to point out that there's a pretty extensive FAQ on the right-hand side. So if students ask you questions about the program, you might be able to find the answer in the FAQ because a lot of times they won't read it. But I would definitely skim over that as a coach. There's just a lot of good information in there. And I'd also like to point out on the main page the tasks bar. So this is actually something that your students are required to do. So you don't have to worry about filling anything out, but it is good for you to know that it's there. So if you go ahead and click on the first phone call, what you'll see is a task. And now your students will have a slightly different page, and there will be a little drop-down menu for them. And they'll be able to click whether or not they've done the phone call with you. And so this is a way that we are able to have our students self-reporting whether or not they're connecting with you, their success coach. So if you want to keep track of your students and how many of them have reported, you'll go ahead and click on the little number right here. And then it will take you to a long list of all of the students. And right now you can see none of them have started this yet because we have not done a tutorial for them yet. So they don't know this is here yet. But once they do, it'll start saying completed in each of these. And so you can check your students and just make sure that they're reporting their phone calls. It would be really nice if you would just remind them after each call to report it, just because it's easier for us to keep track that way. And that way we can make sure that everyone's getting connected with their success coach. So this is for the students, but it's good for you guys to know. The main thing that I want to point out on our Blackboard site, let me go back to our home screen here, is the journals. So if you go ahead and click on the left-hand side of the screen, journals right here, what will come up is a list of all of the students and all of you coaches in groups like this. So let's say I'm Lindsay Branson and I want to fill out a journal for my phone call with Bianca. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to click on this group, and then it'll take me to the journal. Okay, so in here, basically what we want you to do is after each phone call, we want you to be able to go into the journal entries, click Create Journal Entry, and just give us a brief summary of the phone call. Now, this is private, so it's only going to be seen between you and your student that you're reporting on, and then also those of us on staff. So you can title your journal entry, like I could just say phone call 1, or nice to meet you, whatever you'd like to title it. And then in this text box, go ahead and type out a summary. So we're thinking things like, in our first phone call, we talked about X, Y, and Z. It was really nice getting to meet you and getting to hear about your job here and what you're studying and what your classes are, and just be able to make sure that they know that you're listening, that you're keeping track of what is going on in their lives. And then also be sure to mention, you would ask for prayer for this, and I just want to let you know I'm praying for you. And then go ahead and post entry. Post entry is going to be down here, and I won't actually click it because that would come up as a blank entry. So we go back to the group journal, show you what will happen next. So once you click submit entry, it'll show up top right here, and your student will be able to go on and read it. So just make sure you remember this is for you interacting with your student. So anything that you're reporting on the phone call, they're going to see. So then they can actually hit, there will be a reply button right here, and they'll be able to hit reply and then reply to your journal entry. So if you say, you know, it was great meeting you, we talked about these things, I'll be praying for this in your life, they can then comment, reply, and say, oh, hey, it was really nice to meet you too. Thank you so much for the prayer. Also, if you don't mind praying for this. So basically, we're allowing a space for you to interact with your students outside of the phone calls. So after your first phone call, once you have your second one, you'll create a new journal entry. So basically, every time there's a phone call, there will be a new journal entry and a new thread, if you will, between you and your student. So after phone call 2, click Create Journal Entry, start it all over again. Basically, we just want a place for you and your student to interact. And so as long as you're doing that and you're reporting each phone call, that also helps us to keep track of the phone calls themselves. So we have the students self-reporting in the task bar, and then we have you creating journal entries that are quick little summaries of the phone call, and also the ability to interact with your student and for the student to be able to see those summaries. So that is the main thing with these journals. Now, one more feature, if we go back to groups, scroll all the way down on to the next page. There we go. So at the way bottom here, we have a group called Success Coaches in Leadership. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. Now your students won't be able to get into that. Your students can only get into their specific group and their specific journal. So if they tried to like click on another student's journal, it would just show up blank. But only you guys can get into this area. And you can see the group members. I'm included, Christian Martinson's included, and Hannah Tung. So you've got some staff leadership and then also the success coaches. Basically, this is a place for you guys to interact with each other and to interact with us. So if you have any questions or concerns about your students, or if you guys want to like talk amongst yourselves about how things are going, or share helpful tips with, you know, getting a student to talk who's maybe not super chatty, whatever it may be, we have a group discussion board for that. So I'm going to click on group discussion board. And right now it's blank. So basically you can create forum, which will lead you to creating a new discussion board post. And so you can title it kind of like the journals. It's all a very similar format. You can kind of ignore those things. But you can title it, put your text in this text box, just like the journals. And then once you're done typing, hit submit. I'm going to hit cancel. And then it'll create a new discussion forum. And so that way you can comment on each other's discussion boards and just kind of interact with each other as success coaches. Go back to this group, show you a couple other features. Okay, the other thing that I want to point out, really, I think the discussion board will be the main way that you use this group, just to interact with one another, but you also can send email. So if you click send email, basically you can send an email to anyone in the group and they'll receive it in their Moody inbox, which is just particularly helpful if you need to communicate with another coach or with one of us and you can't remember our email. You can always do it through here. So those are all of the features of our success coaching page, and we are just really happy that you guys are doing this and really excited as we launch this. So thanks so much for listening. If you have any questions or concerns or something wasn't clear moving forward, feel free to email me and I will be happy to help you in any way that I can. So have a great day, guys.